Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming along tonight. It's really nice to see you all here. Also, thank you for supporting Bravehearts. So, last year I had a client come and talk to me about Bravehearts and how this charity helped her through a pretty tough time, gave her some tools to deal with her child going through some addiction problems. And so Bravehearts is a charity that really upskills and gives tools to families that have loved ones going through battles with addiction. So it really tugged on my heartstrings, and it was something that I wanted to support. So all the money tonight is going to Bravehearts as charity. So thank you so much for coming to support this and also supporting that charity. So it's fantastic. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this expansive wellness term. Now, I think I've come up with this. Don't quote me on it, but I Googled expansive wellness and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to take it, okay? So tonight, expansive wellness, I've come up with it. I'm not sure if it's true, but there's nothing new under the sun, but maybe there is today. So expansive wellness is a term that is really important to me. Over the last few years, I have gone on a journey to try and become more healthy and more well. And I did that purely for self-care reasons, maybe selfish reasons, but I've realised the more that I've gone down this rabbit hole, that if you look at ways to improve yourself that also improves the greater good or the planet, then it's a lot easier to maintain those habits. So I really wanted to talk today about 10 habits that you guys can take away and start thinking about in your own lives, okay? So I love these two quotes. Isn't it cool that some of the most creative humans on earth already get it? You know, this is not expansive wellness, even though it might be a new term, it's been around for centuries, okay? So Leonardo da Vinci, everything connects to everything else. He already knew it. And then Vincent van Gogh, in terms of habits, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. So I want you guys to remember those two quotes as we move through this talk today. So if you don't know where you're going, any road will do. So this is really just for me, so I don't go off course too much. I want to introduce this. We're going to talk a little bit about what wellness is and what expansive wellness is. A little bit about my journey, the 10 habits that I think we can talk about and then take away. Some takeaways from the talk, summary, and then a chat. Okay? So that's hopefully going to give me a direction, and then I can land this at the end, and I won't go too off track. Okay? So if I do, you can put your hand up and just keep me on task. Okay? Thanks. So just to introduce myself, those of you who don't know me, I'm a physiotherapist. My name's Brad. I love returning people back to function. Okay, and that can be through injury or people having pain. I'm also a coach. I really enjoy coaching people, mainly for endurance tasks, so running, swimming, cycling, triathlon, or just life. I'm also an athlete myself. I really love running, swimming. I do the odd triathlon when I have the time, and I've been doing that for about 30 years. I run camps where I try to get people stronger, so it's full body exercises. I do Les Mills RPM classes, and I write wellness articles for magazines under the guise of running articles. So all my articles actually have a lot of wellness things within them, but they're actually for running magazines, so I have to then change them to pretend it's for a runner. And the editor still hasn't really cottoned on. He will soon, and he'll fire me, I'm sure, and then I'll have to look for another publication, but it's working so far. I also own a little company called EnduroBeats, just basically trying to get people to have more vegetables. So I do that in beetroot powder. But of course, my most important role is husband to my amazing wife, Coral, and father to my two daughters, Eva and Stella. And that picture there helps drive my wellness habits. That's us staying in a log cabin in the middle of nowhere with no power, no running water. And that's where I feel the most alive. I feel connected with my family. And I feel connected with the earth. And I think there's something special in that. And so that helps drive some of my wellness habits. So if I can live more simply and more connected with others, friends and family, and with the earth, I think I'm doing well. And that's what I'm going to continue to move towards until I leave this mortal coil. So what does wellness mean? Wellness to me is just making the most of every moment and making sure that everything we do moves us towards a better state of health and wellness, okay? But also, it's important to look at the bigger picture. So if those habits are making me more healthy and well, it's also important that they're having a positive effect on those around me, my family, my community, and ultimately the earth. So that's where expansive wellness comes in. I think as a society, we get caught up with diet, nutrition, exercise, kale smoothies and yoga, but maybe we need to be thinking about, hey, how do my actions affect others around me? And then how do those actions affect the earth? Because if we are thinking a little bit more expansively about our habits and our health, I think we can change the world. You know, I think we can change the world. And I think we need to change the world. The way that things are going, it's not working out for us, okay? So I think we do need to make some changes. So wellness is an emphasis on preventing illness and prolonging life as opposed to just treating disease. But I think it's more than that. I think we need to think about how we can change the way we live to have a positive impact on those around us. And not just our immediate family, but our communities, okay, our country, and our planet. We have to think expansively, okay? We're all in this together. We're all one, believe it or not. Okay, so that's really important. And so that's what expansive wellness means to me. It's good for the planet, and it's also good for the next generations. Now, as I say, this concept is not new. It's been around for centuries. And I love this quote by Zeno, all things are parts of a single system, which is called nature. And the individual life is good when it's in harmony with nature. So when we're working in harmony with the earth, then good things are happening. And it's good for us, okay? Because as Coral said, I love, what was that? Macro? No. Max, your nutrients. Mega nutrients. I love that. Air and water. We don't talk about that enough. 11,000 litres of air a day. Isn't it important we have clean air? 2 to 4 litres of water a day. Isn't it important that we have clean water? Shouldn't they be the big things we're talking about? Not how much protein we're having. Not the fact that we're deficient in magnesium and therefore my legs are a bit crampy. Okay? I think we need to be talking about the big blocks of wellness. Okay? So a little bit about me. I had my midlife crisis at 38. Okay, so about 5 years ago. I had a major knee injury. I couldn't run for a year. My father had just had a quadruple bypass at 58. And my uncle was dying of grade 4 bowel cancer. So he was emailing and blogging the family every week and talking about how lifestyle affects your health. Well, my grandfather dropped dead of a heart attack in his mid-60s, and he was one of the fittest people I knew. So I've got family health issues. And so this started, I think, my journey towards wellness in terms of looking at what I could do to maybe increase my chances to be around for my grandkids. And so digging into that, I realized that everything's connected, okay? So your body, mind, and soul, us, I'm connected with you guys, and then we're connected to the earth, okay? So it's all connected. And unless you understand that, you're not going to change the way you live and act, okay? So you need to grasp that concept, that everything you do has an effect on everybody else. Society is over-informed with self-care wellness tips, but we under-apply it, and we don't grasp the importance of that holistic, expansive wellness, okay? The way to make the changes is just to start small, and then that means it's going to be sustainable, which means it's going to be consistent, and then you're more likely to do it, as Ben was talking about with the habits. Okay, so that knowledge without that application is completely useless. So I want to move on now to the 10 habits that I've worked on over the past 5 years, and what I talk about every day with my physio clients and my athletes that I coach. So some of my physio clients and athletes are here, so I'm sorry, I'm going to go over this again. But I love talking about it, and I think it's a really important thing to bring up. So number 1, we simply need to eat more plants. Okay, it's pretty simple. okay? We need to move towards a whole food, plant-based way of living. Now, most nutritional tribes agree that we need to eat more vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, and complex whole grains, okay? Pretty simple. It's not about eating less carbs, because carbs are being demonized. It's about eating less crap, okay? So highly processed, additive-laced food is not good for you. As close to nature as possible, please. And it's about eating more plants and less animals. Now, I'm going to take all the animal ethics aside and just look at it from an environmental or resource point of view. Animals, to grow them, to eat them, require a lot of resources, okay? A lot of water, a lot of land. Animals breathe oxygen and breathe out CO2 and produce methane, okay? Plants produce oxygen and trap CO2. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Isn't it? So we need to be eating more plants, less animals, okay? We're fed from a broken food industry that pays absolutely no attention to health, and we're treated by a health industry that pays very little attention to food. That is slowly changing, but on the whole, the food industry gets way more money by making food that lasts a long time, okay? And so they add a lot of stuff to it, takes it away from its natural state, which makes you really unhealthy. So food really is medicine, okay? Plant food is medicine. So eat more plants, please. Leafy green vegetables especially. Popeye was ahead of his time. Popeye was ahead of his time, okay? So you can literally change the world with what you eat and what you put on your plate. Literally. Between 1960 and now, we are eating more meat and more empty calorie food. Okay, and if these trends continue, 80% increase in the global greenhouse gases, okay, due to basically food production and habitat destruction. The other thing to talk about is waste. Every year, New Zealanders waste almost 160,000 tonnes of food that goes into landfills and produces methane. Globally, 30% of all food produced is wasted, okay? It's almost 1.5 billion tonnes of food. We have a world where 1 billion people are starving to death and 2 billion people are eating themselves to death. We don't have a food shortage problem. We have a food distribution problem and a food production problem. We need to change the way that we're producing food. Okay? Now, the Eat Lancet's Commission on Food, they brought 30 of the world's leading scientists. So if you want to argue with this statement, argue with them, not me. But they basically say we need to eat more fruit, more vegetables, more whole grains, more legumes, and less red meat and less highly processed grains and sugar, okay? This is a very powerful report that was released earlier this year that's been slated in the New Zealand media, but it's just comes up with some no-brainer advice, I think, okay? And so it's about a diet that's not only healthy for us, but for the planet. The UK, Canada, and the USA all have new guidelines. And I'd advise you to go and look them up. And they say to put plant proteins ahead of animal proteins. Our nutritional guidelines will never say that because we have two key stakeholders. One, Fonterra, two, New Zealand beef and lamb. They will never, ever say what these guys are saying. They're taking dairy and meat off the plate. It's an added optional extra, okay? It's not a staple anymore around the world. New Zealand will be 20 years before we admit that in our nutritional guidelines. Okay, so just to give you a little heads up. Animal agriculture on a global scale is responsible for 18% of all greenhouse gases. That's more than all transport combined. Cars, planes, trains, okay? So I think we need to look at the bigger picture when it comes to food, and we can change the world with what you eat and what you put on your plate. Habit number 2, mindfulness. Meditation. Sitting down and being with yourself for 10 minutes and just focusing on your breathing. Such an important way to develop your health. Declutter, defrag your mind, okay? It helps with flow between tasks. It improves your compassion for society and the greater good. It helps you become more expansive. It gives you more space between if someone's talking to you and you react, it gives you more space before you react. So I believe meditation, mindfulness is one way that you can tap into yourself and tap into being a little bit more expansive. Okay? If you want to look into it, there's a really good app, Headspace. Download it and have a look at it, and it takes you through it. It's a really good app to get into. Number 3, stand more, move more. So I've got a standing desk. A lot of my clients see that now. I've graduated to standing about 90% of my day. Sitting literally puts your body in a default position, okay? So what happens is your digestion, your breathing is all affected, okay? Your glutes, which are the biggest muscle in your body, basically get turned off. I see so many people with back pain with gluteal amnesia. Their butt has forgotten how to work. And it's because it's been sat on for about 30 years. If you sit for more than 2.5 hours a day, it's about the same as smoking half a packet of cigarettes on your general health. Standing desks are now a legal requirement in places like Denmark. An employer has to offer an employee a standing desk, otherwise it's against the law since 2014. Again, New Zealand will be about 20 years behind. Stand more, move more. The blue zones, as Coral was talking about, they live the longest and they're the happiest. They walk places, they do low-grade activity, they do not sit much, okay? Excessive sitting causes discomfort, pain, and contributes to injury. And this takes away your potential to make the world a better place, because when you are in pain, your world is very restricted. You become very insular. You're less expansive in your outlook. So therefore, moving more and standing up is very important for making the world a better place, because you can't give back if you're in pain. Okay, so this is one way that you can help with that. Just stand more, please. Do you want to stand now just for 2 seconds? Go on, please, just stand up. Please. Stand, just move around a little bit. Some blood flowing. How good does that feel? Good. See, now does that feel a bit better? Yeah? Feels a little bit better, good. Okay, team, number 4, we've got 6 to go. Number 4, functional bodyweight exercises, okay? So if you're not full body strong, you'll never reach your true aerobic potential. So I talk about this with elite athletes right through to 85-year-old rest home residents, okay? There's been some great studies that have shown that actually bodyweight exercise or calisthenics is way more efficient than a gym-based program, okay? You're going to work on your balance, you're going to work on your full body health. So again, being full body strong decreases your injury risk and improves your functional robustness. It means that you can be more, practically helpful to your neighbour. You know, you're strong. You can get into nature. You can get that connection going. You can dig gardens. You can grow vegetables. You can climb trees. You can be a child again. You know, how many of us just go and sit at a playground and do nothing and stand on our phones when we could be swinging from the monkey bars? But I can't do that. I'm going to hurt my shoulder. It's because you're not full body strong, and you used to be. You all used to be as kids. So you need to get full body strong now to prevent falls later. ACC is spending millions of dollars on falls prevention programs of the over 65s. We need to be teaching our kids now. Okay? Do push-ups, do squats, get strong, stay strong. Okay? You get injured and you get ill and you get sick because you stop moving. Okay? You can be doing this every day. Push-ups. I get my 85-year-old clients doing push-ups against the wall. Okay, I get women doing push-ups. I've got them down doing 10 push-ups on the floor. They've never been able to do a push-up, and their neck pain goes away and their shoulder pain goes away just from being full body strong. I'm a big believer in this. So if we can all get full body strong and fit, we'll free up our health system to deal with what we need to deal with. Okay, we're all responsible for our health with lifestyle choices, and being full body strong and being fit is one of those things. Sleep. Everybody understands that quality sleep is really imperative, but nobody actually does it. Sleep is so important for your health and well-being. 7.5 to 9 hours every night. If you think you can do less than that, you're kidding yourself. Okay? Many American professional sports teams use sleep specialists to work individually and with the teams, as shown to improve their performance. It's really important for the brain to move those short-term memories from the neocortex So from the hippocampus to the neocortex. So it can free up the hippocampus for making new memories the next day. If you don't do that enough, you're going to clog your brain, you're going to stop that flow. Also, it's been shown that if you don't get enough sleep, you're not literally clearing out junk in your brain. And if you don't do that, that will contribute to neurodegenerative disease. Okay? So sleep is so important. If you don't sleep, you're taking away, again, your ability to be your best self and to be able to give back and make the world a better place. So heaps more information on sleep. All of you will get this presentation, so you don't need to take notes. You'll get all of this. But there's a couple of really good books there that I've got some information from the sleep. That's Rich Roll. Has anybody heard of Rich Roll? Yeah, he is a dude. So please look him up, listen to his podcast. He will change your life. What's that, sorry? Why? Rich Roll, he's a plant-based athlete from the US. Yeah, he's a really, really lovely guy. Yeah, you'll love him. So as I said before, if you think you can get away with less sleep, it's just not true. Okay, there's been some great studies that have shown that the people that think they can get away with less sleep, over time, their performance just dips down and they're not even aware of it. So sleep literally limits your true potential. Okay, so make sure that you put sleep as a priority. Number 6, cold thermogenesis. Now, I've been taking cold showers every day since November 2015. I swim in the ocean once a week, and I've been doing that without a wetsuit now since 2017, and this summer I've just started taking ice baths. Cold is really good for your health, okay? It improves your brown adipose tissue activation, which is basically brown fat, and that helps produce energy from white fat. It enhances your immune system, so it boosts your white blood cell count, and it improves your cell longevity and hardiness. Okay, it's the same way as what intermittent fasting does. So cold thermogenesis is one of those habits that I think could be very useful for us, and it's completely free. Okay? And also, I believe taking cold showers can help save the world because my showers are only about 90 seconds to 2 minutes long. The average shower is 8 minutes long. You use 20 litres of water per minute in your shower. I save 40,000 litres of water a year by having my cold showers. And I save on our electricity bill. How good's that? I thought it was pretty cool. But if you're wanting to save water, actually, you do realise that it takes 15,000 litres of water to make a kg of beef and about 1,000 litres of water to make 1 litre of milk. So you're probably better just to change what you eat. Because even though I'm saving 40,000 litres of water a year with my shower, I actually save about 1 million litres of water a year by having a plant-based diet. Now, water is actually an important resource, and in a few years' time, we might struggle with water on a worldwide basis. So moving towards a plant-based diet is more important than just our health. It's our world's ability to maintain resources for the people that need it. So cold exposure doesn't only keep you lean, improve your cardiovascular your efficiency, your immunity, but it makes you a metabolic fat-burning machine, plus you save water. So I think it's fantastic. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Wim Hof. Wim Hof is the most adapted human to cold. He holds about 26 world records. He's climbed Mount Everest in just shorts. He swam under a metre of ice for about 100 metres. The guy's incredible, and he's a big advocate for cold therapy. Okay, so look him up, YouTube him. He's pretty impressive. Number 7, exercise. So it's recommended that we exercise around 150 minutes a week, but the research has shown optimally 450 minutes a week, or about an hour a day, is really good. Okay? Now, I know none of you got time for that, but your body is the most amazing instrument you'll ever own, and it's time that we invested in it. Okay? So an hour a day is possible. Most of that can be moderate, some of it can be vigorous. The only negative is that when you exercise, you actually produce more CO2. So from a greenhouse point of view, global warming, there's a small problem there, but I think the benefits outweigh the negatives, so don't worry about it. In terms of some examples, swimming, I think, is the best cardio exercise there is. It slows down the aging process. The research shows that it's incredibly beneficial for you, cost effective. You can stack the benefits by swimming in cold water. It improves your ability to connect with nature. It's free. And it ensures that we have good water quality, because you want to be swimming in good water quality, don't you? So I think there's some real good benefits there. The other one's yoga. Okay, so yoga, I think, should be mandatory. Should be taught in schools. Really good for balance and mind-body alignment, breathing, strength, full body control. The research shows that it can help combat depression, lower blood pressure, reduce chronic pain, reduces stress, reduces inflammation. So I would recommend that if you don't have a yoga practice, start one. Okay? If you don't want to go to a formal class, Yoga with Adrian on YouTube, fantastic. And there's a fantastic app called Down Dog. So download it and just check it out. Yoga is something I recommend to every single physio client and every single athlete. It's a no-brainer. Ride your bike. Average car produces 2 tons of CO2 a year. Okay? That's 2.3 kgs for every litre of petrol burnt. Okay? But more than that, carbon monoxide is an odourless, tasteless gas, and it creates problems with our health. Okay? A World Health Organization study has shown that diesel fumes cause an increase in lung cancer. So riding your bike will increase exercise, improves your mood, decreases traffic congestion, which Tauranga needs, and it also is a lot cheaper. So it generally makes you happy. So that's another really good way to improve your exercise. So nature provides, and we need to nourish nature, okay? So I want you to get back to the fact that at the end of the day, trees produce oxygen, and we need oxygen to live. And the more that I go down this track, I love this quote by John Muir that says, when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitches to everything else in the universe. It's all connected. It's all connected. Number 8, fasting. So again, this isn't new. Plato's he did it. He fasts for greater mental and physical efficiency. The main reason I do it is not for performance, but it's for something called autophagy or autophagy. So when you're not digesting, your body is able to put resources into cleaning up cells, okay, and getting rid of any sort of mutations and things, taking out the trash. If you're digesting food all the time, then your body doesn't have a chance to do the housework. Doesn't have a chance to take the trash out. So I would recommend that everybody looks at some kind of fasting regime. 16 hours once a fortnight, even 12 hours, just start with that. But we eat too much, okay? We eat too often. And even if you're having the best plant-based food in the world, it's very stressful in your digestive system to be eating and processing all the time. It needs a break. So I've been fasting once a week on a Tuesday for about 1.5 years. I love it. It's a fantastic way just to boost wellness. And it doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it will save you money. Cold and fasting, if you can just take those two things away, I promise you'll become better people, better humans.
What times of the day do you do the fasting?
I fast from Monday dinner to Tuesday dinner, but it just has to fit with your lifestyle, you know?
Water and tea?
Yeah, water and tea. Yeah, water and tea. No coffee, no protein. Yeah, shouldn't really have any protein. Okay, so it improves being mindful around food, I think, and it improves your gratitude for food, and it improves your empathy for people in the world that don't have food. Okay, because as I said, we have 1 billion people literally starving to death when we have enough food to feed them. For me, fasting has been very powerful in making me a little bit more empathetic for those that are hungry.
What do you think about kids and fasting?
I don't like, if the kids are growing, I don't know if fasting's that good. The research isn't there for that, so I wouldn't recommend it. No. Number 9, if I was going to ask you what the most important thing for your wellness and your health is, what would you say? Most people talk about exercise and diet, the two things that I think are overrepresented with the fitness and health industry. But the clear message out of this longitudinal study, which is 75 years of data, has shown that good relationships help us keep happier and healthier, okay? So if you're having issues with relationships with your family and loved ones, and you, again, have all the kale smoothies and go to yoga and go to bed at an early night, it doesn't matter. This will undermine your wellness. You need to make sure that you've got good quality relationships, that you're working on those relationships, that doing the best you can, okay? So really, really important, I think. And I think it doesn't get talked about enough in our health system, that it's really important that we work on our relationships, okay? Families are hard sometimes, I know, but it's important to work on those relationships to the best of our ability and put time into them, because ultimately they're going to be better for our own health and our ability then to be able to give back to others. And number 10, reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. We need to be minimalistic. We don't need as much stuff. We don't need as much stuff, especially plastic stuff. We need to be materialistic. That means you need to look after what you have. We need to wear our clothes until they get holes in them. We need to drive our cars for longer than 3 years. We need to use our stuff. We need to be materialistic. We need to look after what we have and cherish it. But we don't need to be consumeristic. 99% of stuff we buy is thrown out in 6 months. We are a disposable society. That disposability then goes into not only what we buy, but also how we treat others. Since 1950, 8.3 billion tonnes of plastic's been produced. Only 9% of that's been recycled. Every minute of every day, 1 million plastic bottles, 2 million plastic bags. Okay? It kills sea animals, and now it's killing us. The average person will ingest 70,000 microplastics every year, about 100 bits per meal. Plastic is in every aspect of the ocean. Okay? Fish, animals are consuming it. We're consuming it. Plastic takes about 8% of the world's oil production. Okay? So we need to use reusable bags. We need to fill our laundry detergents up from eco-store stations. We need to reuse. We need to think about it a little bit more. As Coral said, we need to use our money to promote companies that value our planet. We need to think about this far more than we probably are. There's a really good app called Good On You app. Download that and it just tells you the ethical brand rating of companies around New Zealand, so you can invest in the ones that are doing a good job. So to land this plane, we need to be more expansive with wellness. We need to live expansively. Every action will have a reaction. Every action will. We need to be minimalistic, materialistic, but not consumeristic. Every time you spend money, think of it as a vote for the world that you want to see. Maybe that will change our spending habits. Take every opportunity to minimise your footprint, to minimise your resource use. Ride a bike, eat plants, don't waste food or power, and believe you can make a difference. If someone says to you, you're too small to make a difference, tell that to the mosquito that's buzzing around your head at night. You're never too small to make a difference. Okay? The world is changed by small groups of people that think they can make a difference. So please leave this place with hope. Talk to your friends, and you can make a difference. Don't just leave it to companies and governments, because governments are just a reflection of what the people want. Okay? So we're all connected to each other, and then we depend on this planet for life. Let's start acting like it. We need to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset to a benefit mindset. Okay? It's not just about how we can make ourselves better. It's about how we can make the collective better, how we can make each other better. We need to change the world by changing our world first. So just be the best you can be in all aspects and keep moving towards that. So the takeaways: schedule and daily expansive wellness habits. We've got a tidal wave of lifestyle disease and environmental destruction coming our way. They're linked. If we can change our habits to make ourselves better and the world better, we can probably stem that tide. Being reductionist in our thinking will not solve these issues. We need to act expansively, and we need to have motion, not just motion around habits, but action. Okay? So it's great to talk about, it's great to read about, but unless you put some action, it's all a little bit of a waste of time. Okay? So don't just have motion around these habits, let's put some action in. We need to empower society, we need to empower each other. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of a wellness vision to strive for without overwhelming you too much, but just work on those daily steps to evolve towards it. And just remember, we can't be truly well in a sick world, okay? We are all connected. We're all connected. If we've got people dying of hunger over in Africa, don't think that doesn't affect you, okay? It will. We need to make sure we look after each other in the way that we act. So eat more plants, less animals, don't waste food, fast, meditate, do some yoga, move. Sit less, please. Less than 3 hours a day. Aim for that. Start doing some bodyweight some exercises daily. Push-ups against the wall. Easy. 30 to 60 minutes of exercise every day. Get into nature. Love nature. Nurture nature, because if you don't nurture nature, nature will not nurture you, and you need nature. You need it. It's not just a pretty add-on. It's not just a tourism thing. We need nature. Schedule in some sleep. Watch less screens. Turn your shower to cold for the last 10 seconds. I dare you. You will thank me, okay? It'll change your life. Value the important people in your life and our planet with words and actions on a daily basis. Do not save your smile for strangers, people, okay? Be authentic with love, with the people that matter the most. And have a purpose-driven life with an expansive outlook. Okay? So there's some references, you'll get those. If you want to connect with me on social media, I've got some platforms there, but just, don't think that you're too small to make a difference, because your habits can literally change the world. Literally. So time for some chat, questions, discussion. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.